Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I want to talk about creative blocks, which is something that is very common. I think happens to a lot of artists, a lot of creatives, and it's just the natural part of the art journey, and there's nothing wrong with that. And honestly, I think that having these blockages aren't necessarily a bad thing, and we can learn so much from them. I I would want to say that when we have a creative block, we should just rest and relax. I believe that as an artist, I think it's very important to get into that playful mindset instead of always hustling and grinding, like that hustle culture. I don't really like hustle culture personally. I feel like if we're going to hustle, I want it to be smart. I want it to be efficient and not just forcing my way through everything blindly, because I think forcing is how I'm gonna get to my end goal when it's actually just being more efficient, more smart. And so I think the first tip is to really notice yourself and work with your own artistic system. I still don't really know what to call it, but for example, for me, I realized that I feel much more refreshed after I do certain activities, or I feel like I come back even harder and stronger when I take some time to rest and reset. So going by that system, I would probably implement more breaks and rest and mini vacays for myself, rather than just practicing 8 hours, 6 hours straight continuously. But if you are the type of person where you're like, I just need to be more disciplined and sit down and do it, then I think you should implement more of that, rather than my approach, which is just to kind of relax. So notice yourself first, pay attention to what nourishes you, what fulfills you, and what helps you, because everybody is different, every artist is different, and the way we create is different. Our approaches are all different. So first and foremost, and most importantly, is to notice yourself. Now, I have a couple of other tips that I think will help you in general. Please note that these tips are tips that work for me and might not work for you. And these are the only ones I can really talk about because I have experience in them. There's so many other creators out there who has tips for you on art blocks. So I just recommend you checking them out. But my first tip is movement. I feel like moving my body is necessary, and if I don't move my body, I feel stuck, I feel stagnant, I feel sluggish. And it kind of makes sense because when you're moving your body, energy flows, right? So it's like, how I say it, an example is you're cooking, right? If you don't stir the pot once in a while, your stew won't get incorporated with the flavors. Maybe some parts on the bottom will burn, some parts are overcooked, some parts are undercooked. It's not really it's not in harmony. So you need to kind of stir the pot a little, and that's kind of what I feel like. I feel whenever I feel stagnant or stuck, I always try to incorporate some kind of movement, and that can be taking a walk around my neighborhood, or go hiking, go on a run, or work out. But obviously not everyone wants to have that kind of sweaty day, especially if you already worked out in the morning. You don't want to do it again and burn yourself out like that. So Even like dancing is great, stretching is great, yoga is great. Literally any kind of movement is great. Even if it's just like, I don't know, walking, even if it's not even walking, even if it's just like like within your house, you're doing things, right? Like cleaning, cooking, giving your plant some care, going to your patio, your balcony, and just, you know, like soaking in the sun. I feel like that is really great and helpful, at least for me. Second is watching other artists and content creators. So I feel like there are a couple of artists and creators out there that I really like to take inspiration from and just really enjoy, just for entertainment purposes. And I feel like watching them will help me get more motivated, it will help me get more inspired and really wanting to do stuff. So for example, recently I've been watching Evan and Caitlin, and I've just been really inspired to be more creative and to explore different facets of creativity. So I order myself some art supplies and I'm just so excited for them to come so I can play and just be creative and not really care about if it's good or bad, and just not really, and just kind of like detach myself from the outcome. And I think that's also very important to talk about, is we always like, it's like some of us artists are very like perfectionists, but I think it would do us good to just detach from the results and the end outcome and just forget about the what ifs and just play, right? And just play and be like, it's okay if I mess up or it doesn't turn out the way that I want it to be. And that leads me to my fourth, I lost count. Next tip, and that is just to do bad art. That is just to take out your paint and your paper, your iPad or whatever, your pottery wheel, and just go for it and just give yourself permission to make mistakes, to just create simply just for creation's sake. Like I said, I think part of the reason why we actually get art blocks is like because we, one, try to live up to our last art piece that we think is really good, or two, because we just put so much pressure on ourselves to create something worthy or good, and actually there's no such thing as worthy or good, right? I think art is art, and sometimes we need to just create art for the enjoyment of it, right? Forget about this YouTube's, forget about what other people are going to say and how they judge your art. Forget about how you judge your own art, and just do art because it's fun, because you just want to create and because you love to create. And I think that's what's most important. I mean, obviously, if you're like working on something for like a client, you have a job, that's a whole different kind of issue. I think for that you can't just, you have to be a little bit more like disciplined, I feel like. But in general, give yourself the freedom to do bad art, because there's really no such thing as that. But yeah, and then some other ways I like to kind of help myself out, or not really help myself out, because I think for creative blocks we don't really get out of them. It's more like, how can we just ride the wave, right? Like, how do we just ride the wave without getting face planted? I really don't think there's a way out, and I don't think we should be looking for a way out of creative block. like getting out of it. I think it's more like how we can sit with it and be okay with it. And honestly, I think my thumbnail is like how to get out creative block. But you know, I feel like it's more like how do we just, yeah, go with it and sit with it and realize it's probably there for a reason, and we should really like look into it instead of just being like, oh no, I don't want this, get out of my life. So yeah, my other tip is if you're really big on like journaling or meditation or some form of like self-care. I think just caring for yourself is a really great way to keep yourself grounded and to know that you're still caring for yourself. Like, it's just important to care for yourself. I don't think I need to have a reason for that. It's just important. And how we care for ourselves can come in many different ways, like cooking, or not even cooking if you don't really cook, but just making sure you're getting your nutrition, your nourishment, your water, your hydration, working out, what else? Making sure your space is clean, organized, doing your hair or your skincare, makeup, all of that can be forms of self-care. So yeah, like, or journaling if you're very big on journaling, meditation if that's your thing, what else, like breathing exercises. Again, I think what's so important is actually just working with your own system rather than just doing things, I guess, just to do things, if that makes sense. Like, some of the tips I'm going to say will resonate with you and some don't, and I think that's fine. Just do the tips that resonates with you and you're good to go. Listen to your own body, your own system, your own creative system, and see what it needs. And I think that takes a lot of practice, a lot of courage and bravery, because you are kind of going within and really asking yourself the important questions and being like, okay, what really helps me? What makes me feel better? What brings me joy and fulfillment? And if you don't know, I think experiment. Try out different methods and see what sticks and see what doesn't, and then go from there. So yeah, this video is super short, but I just really wanted to put that out there because I have hit a creative block recently, and that's what I've just been doing. I've been taking care of myself. I've been taking breaks. I've been just making bad art. I feel like I want to have a different way of saying it. Just like making art just to make art, and not really in kind of like detaching myself from the end result and just having fun with it. Like, just being like, oh, like, you know, like in my iPad or whatever, just making like a stroke or a line and just being like so proud and happy that I just made this line. It's just a line, but I'm so happy because I'm creating. And I think it's just so like fulfilling as an artist to see like the physical, like all these lines and forms and colors and shades come together and come to life. And just making a line on my paper really excites me, and I don't care about the end result, you know. And just that will kind of help me, and then to kind of like transition into like oh, what if I do this? What if I do that? What if I incorporate this? What if I try out these colors or this lighting scheme? And I think, you know, like being curious will, like, it will just naturally make me be more curious and have more fun. And then just the momentum is rolling, and once it's rolling, you'll kind of like get to where you want to be. So those are my tips for you guys. Please know that everyone gets these creative blocks, and they're not something that you should avoid or feel bad about. Instead, really ride that wave and just be okay with it, you know, take care of yourself and realize why you're doing art in the first place. So yeah, take care of yourself. I give you guys so much love and light. Hopefully these tips help, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.